Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is Drona and this video will cover the other Copa America semi-finals match, this time between Hafnet Esports and Infamous HotS. Just like in the previous video, please keep in mind that this patch took place on May 29th and as such, was played in a different patch to the one implemented on live servers at the moment. The match will be a best of 5 and will determine which team moved on to the finals to attempt to qualify for the Summer Championship. Game number 1 will be played on Battlefield of Eternity, and this is what the draft looks like. As you can see, Hafnet Esports have drafted KT, Tassadar, ETC, Zul and Karzim. Karzim's high group healing output will be useful for prolonged teamfights during immortal phases. Zul has the possibility to quickly rotate out of fights to clear lanes and gain them an experience advantage. ETC can be used aggressively to dive the enemy backline, and Kael'thas offers a lot of AoE damage and zoning potential. The most threatening plays Hafnet can pull out with this composition are mosh pit combinations with, for instance, a Poison Nova. Infamous HotS have chosen a Tyrande, Vala, Thrall, Artanis and Abathur composition. This is a relatively unusual choice, as there's no real obvious theme to it. The Tyrande solo heal creates a need for aggression, as she does not have the healing output of some of the other supports. This means that the rest of the team is looking to play very aggressively and look for ganks and teamfights whenever possible. In this sense, the Artanis solo tank might work out, since he is relatively difficult to kill without sufficient lockdown, while having quite high damage output for a bruiser. Thrall and Vala are both incredibly versatile healers that can be played to fit this aggressive style, while Abathur will have the opportunity to soak some extra experience, as he litters the entire battlefield with Mayans, lowering the enemy's effective health before fights even begin. The plays that can shift a teamfight will be potentially Shadowstalk ganks and Thrall or Vala flanks, with their respective heroic abilities. Both compositions are interesting takes on the Battlefield of Eternity style. It's clear that Infamous have committed to the heavy teamfight characteristic of the map, while Hafnet may end up winning the game if it goes on longer, because of the sustained value that characters such as Tassadar and Kael'thas offer them. Logically, this game will come down to whether or not Infamous can secure an early lead against their opponents to snowball to a win. Let's see how it plays out. Welcome to Battlefield of Eternity. On the left hand side we have Team Hafnet Esports with Metales on Karazim, Zul being played by Padrino, Mute playing ETC, Nit playing Kael'thas, and Bara playing Tassadar. On the right hand side we have Team Infamous HotS with Ismo, or Gizmo, playing Artanis, Neo playing what looks to be Vala, Tyrande being played by DeBlanc, Fots being played by Thrall, and Surprise on the Abathur. Now, we have a movement to the middle of the map by Hafnet, as they were looking to get some sort of early engagement out of this. Infamous HotS decided not to engage in that kind of way and went straight for the lanes to start soaking the experience up. So we've got a solo lane going up at the top between Artanis and Karazim. That's going to be pretty uneventful. But the bottom lane, for ETC pushing in, attempting to flank, it's a Karazim Blaze, not much happens here. There's some poke damage going into Kael'thas and to Zul at this point, but it looks like both teams are just going to be looking to clear the lane, soak some experience, and prepare for the first immortal phase at the moment. Talent-wise, we've got everything looking to be pretty standard. ETC's gone for the power slide, level 1. Conscious Pursuit on Tassadar. We've got Amateur Opponent on Artanis, which looks to confirm my theory about him going to be playing very aggressively. We've got a multi-shot build going in from Vala. Ranger's Mark for Tyrande, as you can expect on this map, as she's incredibly useful to help get those immortals down. And yeah, it looks like Abathur will be focusing most of his time on putting up mines all around the middle of the map. Again, not much happening right now. Putting some lanes. First immortals coming up in 10 seconds though, so that'll be a good start into the action that will hopefully occur, because Battlefield of Eternity seems to be a map where we've got a lot of teamfights and teamfighting going on. Top lane stayed relatively uneventful. Looks like Karazim. No, Karazim will be staying at the top to soak some experience while he still can. Everybody on Hafnet seems to be quite low though. It's like half HP going onto Kael'thas, 3/4 of a level onto Padrino on Zul. But with Karazim coming down right now, we should have them healing up quickly. They managed to get to the Team Infamous Esports managed to get to the Immortal much quicker, and the Tyrande advantage means that Hafnet are now in a position where they have to defend rather than attack. And to go onto the Tannis and choose him as the first target, power slide into Root, he takes a lot of damage, he does go down, and that's first blood going to Team Hafnet Esports. Now, it's a trade, but it's not good enough to go back to the Immortal yet. We have Karazim going back, and he's going to start poking away at the Red Immortal, while the rest of the team is going to look to posture quite defensively just to make sure that they can actually secure this first Immortal. Roots go up onto Vala, but it won't be enough to manage to get out quite in time. Tastar's putting up shields, he's getting quite low though, and now with all members of Team Infamous coming in from the right, they should be able to get some damage back to this Immortal, and Hafnet don't defend here, and they will lose the first Immortal fight. Roots go down onto Thrall, and he does get taken out, but Team Hafnet is quite low on HP. And that bit of poke and that sacrifice by Thrall was enough to secure Infamous Esports the first Immortal, which will be going to the top lane. What we can see is that Abathur, in the meantime, managed to soak quite a lot of experience on top and playing quite back quite a bit as well. So this first Immortal, while he won't be getting too much damage done, is quite effective. He's got a stun going onto Zul, and he's quite low. Artanis pushes in, but he doesn't end up securing the kill. There's a bit of an experience lead going in for Infamous Esports, but that's not as relevant as you'd expect, as it's evened out quite a bit. It's maybe half a level at most. It's okay. It's enough of a lead to put them in the lead for this match, obviously, but it's not unsurmountable. The shields go off with the Immortal now, which means he's in melee range, so this should be able to get cleared up. A power slide goes onto Vala aggressively though, and a stun goes into Thrall instead of Vala, so that will not end up in the kill, and they managed to get quite a lot of damage done to this first fort already, considering this is the first Punisher. So Hafnet are looking, even Infamous, sorry, are looking to get some sort of early lead. I wonder why they put Karazim in solo lane all the time, because Karazim isn't a great laner, and he's their main support, so they're missing a lot of that sustained healing for the pokes and the prods, and it's costing them a lot of health during the fights. But they have to put someone down there, and I guess they chose Karazim over Zul, which is not the choice that I necessarily agree with so much. I feel like Zul would be a much better choice to sit in the solo lane, but we've got a gank going out to bottom trying to get Karazim off guard, but it doesn't look like they'll get too much done. He's playing very defensively. He knows that Tyrande is missing, and the Lunar Blaze should come down. The Root goes into Lunar Blaze, they get some damage done, but it's not quite enough to take him out. In the meantime, we've got this push here in the bottom lane, creates enough space for Vala to take out the first set siege camps for this map. Hafnet are trying to even out their experience, and they even overtook Infamous at this point by taking out the first wall and the fountain for the top lane, which means if there is a fight going on top lane, neither Hafnet, actually, Hafnet will still have their tap, their well, while Infamous might not have that, so that gives them some sort of sustain for the top lane, at least for later fights. It's not the hugest advantage, but they've managed to get themselves into this game quite quickly, and they've secured what could be seen. It's even, it's not a lead. They might have the fountain, but Infamous, on the other hand, have taken the fort down quite low, and the next Immortal phase is coming out in 10 seconds. Before they come out, Hafnet are looking to get the Bruiser camp, which are incredibly strong this map, while Infamous is doing the same. So everything's been looking quite even. We've got Bruiser and Siege camps being pushed on both lanes, and it looks like Infamous will be first to get the enemy's Immortal again. And with that Tyrande, with that Hunter's Mark, they're going to get so much damage into this before Hafnet even get to their Immortal. So this might end up being a repeat of what we saw earlier. Now Hafnet has forced to take the defensive, and if they don't secure enough kills, they don't have the opportunity to get their own Immortal. Actually, they're going in aggressively. Vala gets stunned by the power slide and gets stunned by Gravity Lapse, but doesn't get taken out. ETC gets taken out very quickly in hindsight though, so that's not the best communication, because he pushed in much further than the rest of the team. Artanis gets a lot of damage done, Karazim gets stunned by the Immortal, so Gravity Lapse goes onto Thrall, but it doesn't secure any sort of kill. With the Root coming in on Taz right now, the entire team of Hafnet should be able to disengage from this fight quite well. Got some damage into the enemy's Immortal, but now they're going to have to go back and heal, and in the meantime, it looks like Infamous might be able to push in and get some damage into this Immortal again. In the bottom lane, it looks like Vala and Tyrande will rotate down to help Abathur in this bottom lane to clear out the waves. In the meantime, the top lane has been taken, the top fort has been taken out by the Bruiser camp from earlier, but it looks like we have an engagement at the Immortal again. All 5 members of Team Hafnet have rotated in to get some damage done, and from the bottom we see Infamous now rotating up to contest this. But it looks like Hafnet's backing off again. Nobody wants to really commit to a big fight yet, but the Hafnet have managed to almost even out the Immortal HP to the point where they're now quite even. But look at this, in the meantime, this Abathur has managed to soak so much extra experience, and the fort kill obviously helps as well, that Infamous is looking at getting level 10 very soon, while Hafnet's getting level 9 yet. Here we go. Power sliding, gravity lapse onto Vala. Is not enough damage to take her out. The swap goes on to ETC, putting him quite high northwards. Thrall takes a lot of damage. The power slide comes in again, gets pushed into the thing. That will be the end for Thrall. So it's a 4v5 situation now. But keep in mind that Infamous is quite close to level 10, and with that heroics, Hafnet will no longer be able to contest. This one kill might be exactly what they need to take out this Immortal though, but we'll see. Here comes the level 10. Will they push in? Will they try to secure this kill? Evolution goes on to Artanis, so they've got 2 Artanises running around right now. While at Hafnet, yes, they do back off. They know it's level 10, they know this is too risky, and they could just lose their entire team for this. They'll probably end up fighting at their own Immortal and trying to postpone this as long as possible, but as long as nobody actually goes to soak the experience in their lane, they won't be able to even this up, and the Immortal will go down. That will mean that Team Infamous will secure another Immortal. In the meantime, look at all that damage. This is why the Bruiser camps are so dangerous on the map, and why Infamous chose to rotate down to deal with theirs. It didn't only take care of the fort and the tower here, it went all the way down and took down the keep wall and got some poke damage on the fort. That's dangerous. Punisher going into the bottom lane now. Fort wall is already taken out, so it's going to be threatening the fort. It's going to attempt to Infamous is going to attempt to get the second fort of the game now. The Punisher is already doing some damage, but the shields are down, so it's not as powerful as it should be. Phoenix goes down to get some poke damage onto both sides. Roots go down onto Artanis. They're looking to take out Artanis first, but the stun, the Earthquake, not the Sundering goes down and will force Hafnet to push back because their tank is so low. The fort does go down, secures a full level lead for Infamous now, and they can take all the time they need to rotate back and take the rest of the map objectives, with Abathur playing relatively aggressively, not as aggressive as he could be, but being far enough out to secure an extra pressure in the top lane. And they're going to have to go back and deal with this lane, because if not, it's going to continue to push into this keep and threaten the keep. At the moment, we've got Hafnet pushing in to get some damage on 7-sided strikes, and Gravity Collapse goes on to Tyrande and will take her out. So this is a 4v5 situation, and considering Abathur is rotating back to the top, that means that the pressure at the top isn't the bottom. That means the pressure at the top is not as relevant as it was previously. We've got all five members of Team Hafnet looking to take out the fort of their opponents right now to try to even out the structures just that little bit more. Ultimate Evolution. Oh, a Mosh Pit's good though with a Gravity Lapse, and that takes down Vala. Artanis pushes in to get damage done though, but Thrall gets taken out as well, and that's the main damage dealers for Team Infamous being taken out here, and that's what Hafnet needed at this point. They can now take all the time they need to take out the sport, and at least even up the structures a little bit. Even out the experience a little bit. They're now even on experience again. They'll both be... Oh, Abathur looked like he had a misplay and like moved into the middle of the fight, which did mean he ended up dying. That's an unfortunate misline, something that you wouldn't expect at this level of play, but it does happen sometimes. Even the pros misclick, so you don't have to feel as bad when you do it in Hero League and end up costing you your match here. But the problem is, in these kind of matches, the stakes are much higher. They're playing in the semi-finals of the regional tournament, meaning the team that wins this best of 5 will be the team that qualifies to for the finals of the Copa America, and the team that wins that go straight to Sweden in June, and that's a lot of money on the line. Now we see Hafnet taking out the Bruiser camps again, while Infamous is doing the same, because we have the third set of Immortals spawning relatively soon, and Abathur is already back up, and he's doing his thing again, and he's pushing back down top lane, which Hafnet managed to push quite strongly. We'll see if Hafnet let the Bruisers do as much damage this time around as they did before, but I would hope that they don't for their own sake. Mines don't seem to be doing as much damage to Hafnet as I initially expected, because Tassadar is doing a good job of keeping all the shields up. But it looks like they're going to choose the defensive route and try to get a stun. Ooh, the 7-sided strike power slide force wall combination does do a lot of damage. Like, here we go, Poison Nova goes out as well. It does take out the Abathur clone, but Team Hafnet seems to be quite low, and Zul does get taken out first in exchange for Artanis. So it's a 2-for-1 trade. How did it looks like they managed to kill Abathur again during all of that, so I don't know if he misclicked and got in again, or if there's something going on that I just didn't see. We'll have to go back in the video and look for that yourself. In the meantime, because 3 members on Team Infamous is down, Hafnet now have all the time in the world to take out the first half of the enemy's immortal HP, while Karazim again moves back to take care of the bruiser camp so that it doesn't do too much damage to the top keep, which is something that they did too late in the last map, but at least they ended up doing here, and now they've got Zul helping them as well. I don't even understand why they keep choosing Karazim as their person to go back, because you'd expect him to be necessary in the team fights, but I guess they don't have enough damage to take Zul out with only Kael'thas. I'm not sure what their decision they want is in this. Artanis does start pushing in. There's a power slide going into Artanis to get a stun on. He's got an Abathur hat though, so he's got quite a bit of sustain, and he shouldn't be the easiest target to kill in that sense. Both teams have all their members up again and they're pushing in, but it looks like Hafnet will be able to take out this immortal without dying too much. Here comes the Shadow Stalk. Abathur clone comes in as well. ETC is quite low. He's being swapped. Oh, there's a swap in on Zul. That'll probably mean the end for Zul in that situation. While at the top we've got Kael'thas taking a lot of damage against the Abathur clone, and Zul did end up going down. But regardless, this is the first immortal that Team Hafnet, that was a very risky move by Tassadar, that Team Hafnet have managed to secure for themselves, meaning they will be now in the position to get some momentum for their team to even out this map even more. They've got a bit of an experience lead. They're half a level to 3/4 of a level ahead of their opponents, but the structures are what are killing them right now. And here we go, we're pushing in to the top 4, and we've got Hafnet rotating up to assist and Punisher. Nobody's soaking the bottom though, so this is the opportunity for Abathur to soak in enough experience for Team Infamous to even out the experience lead that Hafnet managed to acquire for the next immortal phase, because we're going on to level 16 for Hafnet now, and that talent tier advantage will give them the advantage to potentially even take out the keep. That being said, the immortal has already lost all its shield, it's getting quite low. It would be unlikely that they end up securing a keep here, but you never know. With team fights like this, we might have a misplay going in. We might have some bad positioning. Level 16 is now acquired, they've got a talent tier up. Zul has rotated in as well, but he's already halfway low. This is probably due to the Abathur mines on the way here. And it looks like Hafnet will push back. There's more Abathur mines that are damaging them. They feel like they don't, even though they have that talent tier advantage, they don't have enough of an advantage to validate pushing in and pressing the issue on the keep. They did end up taking it out, which is good, which gives them the advantage, and now Hafnet are in the dominating lead for this map. And the ones to be looking out to take game number 1 in this best of 5. We'll have to see how the next immortal phase plays out as Kael'thas rotates to the bottom to take out the lanes. We've got Karazim taking the siege camp on top. We've got the rest of the team taking out the siege camp at bottom. So Hafnet is dominating and taking control of the map right now to secure the first game in the series. That doesn't mean that Infamous is out in any stretch of the imagination yet though. They're pushing in to take out the top siege camp for themselves, pushing back the Karazim because he was never going to take that out alone by himself. It's a smart move to push back for him. And they've now hit level 16 as well, so they're on even talent tiers. Abathur's gone for the mines build as we expected. Tyrant's build is relatively standard. Vala gone for a multi-shot build, which is relatively standard as well. It looks to be quite standard all around for both teams. And Infamous have now opted to take out their bruiser camps a bit earlier before their immortal phase starts, which might end up hurting them a little bit, because Hafnet have already rotated up to the top to deal with it, so it will not be getting that push that it has done during the previous immortal phases. There might be a 1 talent tier advantage right now for Hafnet, but that does not mean that Infamous are out of this game. They've on the same talents now, and Immortal Phase is joining. With Tyrande on their comp, as long as they manage to get to their Immortal Phase first, the damage of Artanis, Thrall, and Vala is high enough to kill the Immortal quicker than their opponents can kill them. And if they get an Immortal, they can get a keep, and they can push the issue like that very hard and even out the structures once again. So we have both teams looking to posture up in a defensive manner. For now, we've got Abathur in the bot lane, setting up to push back this bruiser camp and to get some damage done. An engagement should be happening up in soon. We saw Karazim pop out of the fight there. Doesn't look like anybody wants to commit too hardly yet, but Hafnet is pushing the issue. They're the ones that are looking to play aggressively. which they need to, because they know if they let the other team push into them, the Tyrande will secure that they get... Ooh, Gravity Lapse goes onto the Thrall and gets a lot of damage done there, but the Sundering means is a counter engage. Here comes an ETC Mosh Pit, getting two of the opposite members in it, and they're going to both fall down, but in the meantime, we've got Karazim taken out towards the bottom. Artanis does get taken out as well, and that's a 2-for-1 trade in favor of Hafnet. And Hafnet should be able to at least win the first half of this Immortal phase. We see there's Catapults pushing in at the core right now, which means we've got Abathur that's rotated back down to get some more damage done here. The first half of the Immortal will go down to Hafnet Esports, and we've got a 30-second death timer on Artanis, so it's probable that they might be able to get this entire Immortal for themselves. Infamous look to be pushing in from the right hand side again. We're getting some poke damage in on their ranged assassins slash Tyrande, who's like half a ranged assassin anyways. Tassadar is quite low, so there is, with it all being back up now and 10 seconds left on Artanis, I doubt that there's enough time for Infamous to recover and to push the issue and stop this Immortal from being taken. I think it's pretty much a done deal. So this Immortal will be pushing into bot lane, and the last remaining keep of Infamous HotS. So it looks like Infamous did get enough time to do damage to the opposite Immortal to at least reduce the amount of shields that goes onto this one. Hafnet look to be playing really aggressively. They're looking to start the push with it before the Immortal is even there. Potentially pick off somebody that's standing in an awkward position. But they do end up rotating down to the bottom lane to start just poking and prodding at these walls, weakening them for the Immortal, because once he hits the keep is when he gets the most value out of it. All 5 members of both teams are rotating down to start what could be the final phase of this map. Hernandez is pushing in onto Tassadar, trying to get some damage done there. Lunar Blaze does hit, but doesn't get enough damage on it. Tassadar goes quite low, ooh, but the root, the 7-sided strike, does a lot of damage to Artanis, and the Sundering finishes. Tries to save him, but doesn't manage to. The Poison Orb should also finish off the Thrall copy. And now we've got a 4v5 situation. The team Hafnet is quite low, but they should be able to recover quite quickly with the AoE healing that Tassadar brings. The second keep goes down, and if Infamous are not careful here, then they will end up losing game number 1. Root goes onto Thrall, keeping him away. Looks like Hafnet are just committing the core. They don't even want to fight their opponents anymore. They're just going to get as much damage as they can into this core. Power Slide goes down. Mosh Pit to delay this even longer. Gravity Lapse goes down as well. And it looks like this core will down. And Team Hafnet will take game number 1 on Battlefield of Eternity and take the lead in this best of 5.
Blue team is victorious.
Game 2 will be played on Blackheart's Bay, and the draft looks as follows. Hafnet Esports have gone for a similar lineup to Game 1, with Rehgar being the full support alongside Tassadar. Tychus is their high damage ranged assassin this time around. This offers less spread out damage, but high single target damage, especially against high health characters. Muradin is obviously always a strong choice of tank, and Sonya provides a second high single target damage character, this time as a bruiser. As opposed to relying on big plays, Hafnet's composition this game will focus around sustained team fights, which they will eventually try to win by outlasting their opponents. Infamous decided to draft something much more standard this game. That being said, they have picked 2 strong specialists which, alongside Kethas and Johanna, provide incredibly strong wave clear. Chances are that they will have Zagara take care of the bottom lane while Zul rotates between top and mid lanes, securing the important experience, while also freeing up the rest of the team to roam and take care of objectives and ganks. The biggest plays we can see out of this composition will be focused around Devouring Maw and Blessed Shield, both of which will be used for lockdown and to set up strong Kael'thas and Zul follow-up damage. Overall, both drafts seem strong and versatile. Both teams will have to adapt to the situation they encounter well, but I feel that Infamous have drafted in a way that lets them have more consistent performance throughout all aspects of the map. The Tychus pick of Hafnet Esports just does not seem to be that effective against the solo tank composition, especially with a potential lockdown response on Infamous' side if he decides to push in too far. As always, there's only one thing we can really do, other than predict at this point: wait and see. Welcome to Blackheart's Bay. On the left hand side is the blue team. We have Team Hafnet Esports, 1 game up in this best of 5 series, with Metalis playing Rehgar, Padrina on Sonya, Mute on Muradin, Nit on Tychus, and Bara on Tassadar. On the right hand side, we have their opponents looking to even out the series: Infamous HotS with Surprise on Johanna, Fots on Kael'thas, Blank on Karazim, Neo on Zul, and Gizmo on Zagara. Looks like we'll have a battle of Specialist versus half Specialist in the bottom lane, with Tassadar against Zagara both soaking their experience. While in the top lane we've got a bit of a poke that you see in Hero League every game as well for some reason, between the rest of the remaining members of each team. Now if we take a quick look at level 1 talents, we have an Colossal Totem for Rhaegar, which is relatively unusual. He'll go for more of a totem-heavy build this game by the looks of it. Reverberation on Muradin to counteract the attack damage from, I guess, Karazim and Azul. Actually, we'll get back to that. We've got a bit of poke going on. Or not, thanks for that. Does anything else look to be unusual? Everything else seems... Warpaint means that Sonya's playing for more of a late-game style. Muradin's taking some damage here, while got all 5 coins already going on to Team Hafnet. A bit of poke damage from each side. Hafnet goes quite low, but they do secure the coins from the bottom, from the top chest. Well, the bottom chest is now going to be contested mostly by Zagara. Ooh, might get some damage done onto her right now. Doesn't look like it, so we have 8 coins for Team Hafnet, 2 coins for Team Infamous HotS, and a bit of a lead going on to Hafnet at that point. Looks like they've secured themselves a bit of a lead. They've got 8 coins to 2, is a quite nice start to the match. Should be okay. Experience is a bit in favour of Infamous, but not too much. Bit of a gang trying to go onto Tychus. Root's coming in right now. Stun. Probably won't be enough. Actually, Gravity Lapse goes down, and he will get very low and get taken out. And the Living Bomb does end up spread to 2 of his friends as well. So that's First Blood going down for Team Infamous, who now have nearly a half level advantage in trying to get some more damage on Sonya as well. Roots from Zul will go down, and it looks like he will end up getting taken out. That's 2 for naught, and a nearly half level, more than half level advantage going down for Miss Esports, all Infamous HotS already. Going back to the talents, we do see something which is quite unusual, in Europe at least, which is the Backlash talent on Zul. Basically means once, after his level 1 talent expires, he'll do 15% HP damage to the person he catches within a short radius around him. Otherwise, everything seems to be quite normal. We've got Infamous trying to take out at least the top wall already, which is relatively early in the game, 2 minutes 30 in. And a full level lead, get this early, gets you that kind of advantage, I guess. It looks like they will be taking down the top wall, and these 3 members of the team will look to even get some damage into the score, and the entire rest of the team, or Team Hafnet, are not looking to contest this at all. It's very interesting. They're being delayed by 1 Johanna, and Zagara is also pushing into the bottom, so Infamous are taking a very strong lead to this map. Much different to how they played the last game. The stun goes onto Zul though, but he managed to secure his opponent backing off with that level 1 talent. It's an interesting choice, but something that I've always find might be useful in certain situations. And with 2 bruisers being on the team of Hafnet, that percentile damage does gain in value. So we'll see how it plays out, but I think I like it. I think I like it for now. Let's see if he gets taken out a lot during the game or not. Looks like Infamous is trying to do the same thing they did earlier, but now with the middle lane, so they're trying to get some walls down. So it looks like they didn't value the coins that much, because we did see a lot of coins going down to Hafnet, and they did get the first set of cannons. Because they're just going to play this as if the coins didn't exist. It's not a very objective map. Ooh, double Gravity Lapse comes in. They look to just do some traditional old school damage to the forts, to the keeps, to the walls, and not rely on the coins that much. We'll see if they keep this up throughout the rest of the game, but it's an interesting style to pick at the start. Rotations going down, Zul soaking some experience. The rest of the team is tapping, getting some mana, getting some HP back. Ooh, got a little bit of a gank set up here, and it will attempt to get Johanna, but she does use her trait early enough so that she can just move out. But again, these coins will go to Hafnet. He's getting greedy, he wants to get that other coin, but he doesn't end up getting it in time. Dwarf crosses out, the stun goes down, the roots will go down though, and that will probably spell the end for Muradin in this kind of situation. Rhaegar does try to come up save him, but doesn't manage to do it. So that's 3 kills going down to Infamous right now, 4-0 on Hafnet. They left a coin up in the top, but I'm sure somebody will go back to get that right now, because they're just prioritizing that the treasure chests are up, and they want to get these coins while they can. Looks like Infamous is going to commit more resources to getting the coins this time around. They now do have 10 coins, which is potentially enough to turn in, especially as Zul has now collected the coin they left at the top as well. So everything looks to be going in Infamous's favor on this map so far. Got a bit of a jump going on to Zul, and he might get taken out here as Rhaegar and Tychus also rotate down. So at this point, his level 1 talent doesn't give him all the sustain he wants, but there's a Gravity Lapse that comes into Rhaegar from the other side, with the rest of the team have rotated up to get some sort of counter kill out of this, get some value out of the lost Zul and that lost coin. But it looks like Hafnet will be able to disengage safely. We have Zagara trying to hand in the remaining 2 coins right now for Infamous to get some sort of value, and the first set of cannons against their opponents in the bot lane. In the meantime, we've got Johanna soaking the experience. Tassadar is still doing what he's been doing all game, which is also soak the experience in the bot lane. Zul is back up now. He'll be looking to get some coins, maybe soak some experience as well. Infamous is rotating around the map, trying to get ganks here and there, but it's not something they can keep up now, because now level 10 has already been reached for Infamous, and with level 10, Hafnet can no longer contest teamfights. They've got that heroic advantage, and if there was a situation in which Hafnet fought Infamous right now, Infamous would win 9 out of 10 times. And it looks like this might be happening soon, because Hafnet is rotating down, trying to contest this bruiser camp that Infamous is looking to take, and it might be that they're close to level 10, but they're not quite yet. Infamous is already 11, here we go. Got some poke damage going into the backline, but they've already taken the camp, and now Hafnet are trying to get out. They wanted to push the issue, they went in too late, and now they couldn't get anything out of it. Siege camp from their opponents taken out. Infamous is looking to push the issue and possibly get some more fort damage done here. Level 10 is achieved now for Hafnet Esports, so now this isn't as big a deal. Now they're on even talents. They're nearly 2 levels behind, but they're on even talents. Ooh, we've got spear onto Zagara, and Sonya's trying to push the issue, but a double maw means that she gets out safely. And 7-sided strike does not do all the damage it can because of the force wall. It's a very good force wall to like secure their players' retreat out of the devouring maw. Tychus ult goes down as well, doesn't get too much done. Infamous just retreats quite safely, and that connection, that engagement seems to remain uneventful. Force shield plus shield goes in. Poison Nova comes in as well. That's a lot of damage going to Hafnet, and ooh, Sonya gets taken out and drops 9 coins. That's not good. Looks like their next target is going to be Muradin. They try to get a bit of a stun onto him, but Tychus dodges the Gravity Lapse as well. Phoenix goes down. Muradin's quite low, but it does look like they will retreat. And with that takeout on Sonya, and that 2-level lead, they're now taking down the 3rd fort of their opponents. This is a very, very different team to what we saw in game number 1. Because they look to be dominating. They're completely dismantling their opponents. Every team fight has gone to them so far. They've lost 1 member in the form of Zul earlier, and that was only because he got ganked in the mid lane because he wasn't playing defensive enough. Which can happen, but every team fight has gone dominating in Infamous's favor to a great extent, and now 1 coin of the top chest gets taken by Zul, but he does retreat. Ooh, it looks like Infamous are rotating upwards to see if they can take out some members, maybe secure some more coins. The bottom chest has also been taken. We've got 16 coins for Team Infamous. It's 12 for Hafnet, so both teams could move in. It looks like Hafnet are attempting to hand in their coins and attempt to secure some more cannon shots, but Tassadar did not hand in his. He moved away while the rest of his team were handing in, so he didn't get that last coin in that they needed to actually secure the cannons. In the meantime, Zagara is taking out a siege camp, securing some more coins for her team. Zul and the rest of the team were pushing up the top lane, taking out some waves, getting some experience. The cannon has been activated. Tassadar did manage to hand that in, the last coin, successfully, and Infamous are playing very aggressively. They're invading the other team's coin camp and wants to push the issue with the siege camp as well. They know that Hafnet is looking to take the bruiser camp at the top, and they were like, you know what? If you're up there, then we're going to go down here, and we're going to take this out. And this is now going to threaten these keep walls. The siege camp is going to be doing a lot of damage, and they've secured a lot of coins. Now Infamous are posturing up in the manner to immediately follow up this cannon phase with a phase of their own. And that will push the issue of their lead quite hard. Infamous have managed, and Hafnet have managed to even out the experience lead quite well. They're only one level behind now, which is much better than 2. But I fear that with these sets of cannons, and the next couple of minutes of this game, Infamous will manage to secure themselves more of a lead. Because they're just playing such a impressive way. Their double specialist comp is working out much better than I thought it would on this map. Even if they're not playing it quite in the style that I predicted they would play it during the draft session. But it looks like we'll have an engagement here soon. It's level 14-13, which means that they're on even talent tiers now, and Hafnet want to take this opportunity to attempt to even out the experience by getting off some kills in a team fight. Doesn't look like that one will happen relatively soon. The Bruiser Camp was taken out by Infamous. Hafnet are rotating up to top to take care of the Bruiser Camp from the prop pot. They can threaten the fort as well if they feel like they want to push that issue. And the teams are rotating up, down, and up. Because Hafnet first thought they'd be up at the fort, but then they moved down towards a Hansen, and then Hafnet wanted to contest that, while Infamous went back up to defend the fort. So it's a bit of a dancing around, and feeling out the opponent, seeing how they think. Hafnet now this time going for the aggressive play to take out their enemy's coin camp, while Infamous went back to heal up to full in preparation for any potential team fight. So we've got 4 coins for Hafnet, which isn't too big a deal. They still need to get 10 more before they can do anything with them. While Infamous look to be giving up this Bruiser Camp and not going to contest it, but instead are going to try hand in the coins they have so they can get another set of cannonballs fired at their opponent. Meantime, we have this Bruiser Camp pushing in, threatening this keep wall, but it won't get too much done since Hafnet is already on their way down to take care of this after having successfully secured the objective. Rhaegar rotating up to the top to deal with Bruiser Camp from earlier, and this is going to be doing a lot of damage to the keep walls here, which is scary because now level 16 and that power spike has been achieved for Team Infamous. So they're again a talent tier up, nearly 2 full levels ahead, and 3 structures ahead. Well, 2 structures ahead. And they'll be pushing in here. They're going to be trying to push the issue. This could end up being quite dangerous for Hafnet. It's going to be interesting. This next fight will determine quite a lot of what the future of this game has to hold. The siege camp does come back up, and Infamous do look like they want to take it, but they're also very aware of Hafnet's very close positioning. Looks like they will end up taking this out, and with that siege camp, they'll have a push lined up for this bottom lane to attempt to take out this keep wall and potentially the keep itself. 6 coins for either team, so neither team has the potential for another hand, and even if they manage to get all the coins from the opposing team. So right now the name of the game is how much damage can be done with this push. All 5 members of both teams have rotated down to this area, and it does look like Infamous is going to give the push up. They are the talent tier ahead. They probably could have taken the push, but they were just afraid of how much damage they would be taking under fire of that keep, and they see that the other lanes are still pushing in at the same time, and there's no real need for Infamous to push the issue too much here. They know they're ahead, they just want to play it safe and take some more camps and just create some pressure all around the map. Keep up their experience lead and try not to let Hafnet catch up too much. At the moment they still have that talent tier advantage, and if they engage now then they will have that for the next fight. But it looks like Hafnet will be securing level 16 soon, and then the fights will be on nearly even footing again. There we go, Dwarf Toss to attempt to get some damage onto Gizmo, but he does back off. His mute was taking a lot of damage from the Hunter Killers there. Chests have spawned again. With the defensive posturing that Infamous have forced upon their opponents, they have all the time in the world to rotate and take both chests, and that will secure them enough coins to get under the hand and get some more damage done. Ute on Muradin, trying to push him in a little bit. Try to contest this. Hafnet have reached that level 16, they have that talent tier now, and they're in the position to attempt to contest this hand in because they do not want their opponents to get another set of cannonballs. Both teams looking to get some poke damage on both sides. Nobody's quite getting to a fight yet. Here we go though. Mystical Spear goes down and some damage goes into the opponents, and Muradin does get taken down by a 7-sided strike from Karazim there, which means that Infamous are now in the position to push the issue. They've one member up, they won the team fight again. Roots go down onto Sonya, which should mean that she'll taking quite a bit of damage here. That Gravity Lapse does miss though, and the Maw goes down, so that these two members are probably doomed. Tassadar manages to get out with the Dimensional Shift for now, and Ancestral Healing goes onto Sonya, so she tries to get out as well. But Sonya gets hit by a Gravity Lapse and will go down as well, and she was the person with the most coins on her team. So there's a lot of coins on Team Infamous now. And the only person that's quite low... Oh, another kill goes on with Rehgar. He was playing too aggressively there. There was no chance that he was going to make it out of there. Gravity Lapse misses Tychus. Not a lot of damage coming in. Keep gets taken out. And at this point, 7 coins are already handed in, and 13 more coins are in the bank. Plus, there's 4 more coins in this chest, so Infamous are looking to secure the victory here. With the rest of the coins, especially with these coin camps that they're taking, they have enough for one hand in, and potentially soon a second one. And that would take out the remaining keep for Team Hafnet, and start getting some damage into the core, and that's scary. That's a scary situation to be in, because now with both bottom and mid keep being taken out, Hafnet are in the position where they have to play defensively, and they have to just react more than act proactively, while Infamous have all the space in the world to just move around, to take out all the camps they want to take out, rotate. There's a siege camp taken there. They're probably going to rotate down to this bruiser camp that I was showing you, and the first set of cannonballs do take out both the remaining tower here and the top keep. All 3 keeps are down. Level 20 will be arriving soon for Team Infamous, and we'll probably will see a potentially game-ending push with that level 20. There's no keeps left. They'll have a 2-level advantage plus Storm talents. They've got 16 coins, should get some more off this camp. So even if they didn't want to force the issue with a fight, they can just move back and attempt to... Ooh, Blessed Shield goes into Muradin there. He was caught out really aggressively, and he gets stunned with the Gravity Lapse back with the Avatar and the Stone Form and the Ancestral Healing. All 3 get used to secure his survival, which is a lot of things committed for one player on your team before the fight even begins. And now look at this. They're just rotating back. They're going to hand in their coins here, and if they manage to complete this hand in, then it does not look good for Hafnet. They will be losing this game due to the cannonballs. We have an engage going on here. Zul pops his level 1 talent. Ooh, Poison Nova goes down as well, and it takes out Muradin and Sonya, who had to use the defensive talents earlier in that small engagement. Now 4 people got taken out with that dominating fight. Level 20 was breached. This last coin will be handed in, and that will spell the end for Team Hafnet in game number 2 on Blackheart's Bay, and even out the series in favor of, well, it's not in favor if it's evened out, Infamous Esports, as there's nobody really left to contest this. Gravity Lapse goes up onto Tassadar, and his Dimensional Shift will save him for now, but it won't save his core. And GG, I guess. Dominating performance by Team Infamous. They managed to keep the control over the map from start to finish, and even out the series, looking to hopefully secure a lead. Game 3 will be played on Dragonshire. Hafnet Esports have chosen a composition that has incredible potential to blow up an unsuspecting victim. Kael'thas will, once again, be their ranged assassin, this time alongside Illidan as his melee counterpart. ETC marks an aggressive tank with Uther and Tyrande rounding off the team as support picks. What makes this team so dangerous is that the combination of Gravity Lapse, Lunar Fair, Power Slide, and Hammer of Justice create enough control to lock down not only the kill target, but also potential assistance from his teammates. Illidan and ATC will synergize well, with both of them looking to disrupt and dive onto the enemy's backline, especially considering that Uther can throw out a Divine Shield at any point to keep up the aggression. The most dangerous plays are the aforementioned stun combinations, alongside the usual ETC mosh pit plays. On the other side, Infamous HotS have again picked their combination of Zul and Zagara. This theoretically continues to give them enough lane clear to have the rest of their team rotate and look for ganks. The only thing hindering this strategy is that the rest of the team is made up of Muradin, Rehgar, and Tassadar, each heroes that are strong in their own right, but none of which provide very high damage output. This means Infamous is looking solely towards their specialists to dish out the damage, with the rest of the team providing sustained healing and shields, as well as the innate control that Muradin brings to the table. The biggest plays to look out for are Devouring Maws, which could be followed up with a deadly Poison Nova that could swing a teamfight in their favour. Overall, I much prefer Hafnet's draft in this position. They have a clear idea of what they want to achieve and have picked the right tools to be able to execute it effectively. The only potential upside for Infamous here lies in their ability to prolong teamfights if they need to. Then again, Hafnet also have 2 supports, but set up in a much more aggressive way, and they are up against Zul and Zagara, 2 heroes which are not known for their ability to escape ganks. Let's see what happens. Welcome to Dragonshire. On the left hand side, we have Team Hafnet Esports with Mute on ETC, Padrino on Illidan, Metalis playing Uther, Nit on Tyrande, and Bara on Kael'thas. Their opponents on the right hand side are Team Infamous HotS with Gizmo and Zagara, Fots on Zul, Blank on Rehgar, Surprise playing Muradin, and Neo on Tassadar. Level 1 talent picks for now do not look to be... We've got Immolation on Illidan, relatively standard, Power Slide, ETC. Tyrande looks to be going towards an Owl build, taking Empower on level 1. Again, Rehgar's playing that Colossal Totem for a Totem build. This time, Zul's gone for the much more standard talent of using... of Shade, probably because he's only against 1 tank in this game. And Reverberation is obviously a great pick against Illidan. So in the bot lane we have Tassadar soaking, in the mid lane we've got a bit of poke damage, but Muradin's doing most of the soak here. We've got Zagara and Zul and Rehgar in the top lane, question mark? That seems like an interesting choice, to have 2 specialists in 1 lane, but it might be some sort of rotation that they end up picking out to do, so they'll have their specialists rotate as their main damage dealers for the comp. We'll have to wait and see how it plays out, but that would be an interesting way to play out the match. So yeah, it looks like they're just pushing a lot of pressure. They're looking to put up a lot of pressure in the top lane with 2 specialists and a healer, while Muradin and Tassadar both are heroes that are strong enough for the survival. They can just sit in their lane and defend it even against potential multiple heroes. Right now we've got Zul rotating further down, Rehgar rotating down as well, leaving Zagara to herself in the top lane, which is something I'd expect from this sort of composition. The rest of Hafnet seem to be rotating down, leaving Infamous to take both shrines at this point, which was an interesting choice. It looks like they are trying to force the issue of a fight in mid lane. Some poke damage going onto Muradin, nothing big. Stormbolt hits Kael'thas, but Muradin alone can't follow that up with anything. Power Slide does manage to hit on Zul, and he gets pushed into the opposite, into the opponents, but his Shade talent will be able to save him for a little bit there, with 4 members of each team being down in the bottom lane at the moment. We've got Zagara and Illidan at the top, and Zagara's playing this incredibly aggressively considering that she's up against Illidan. Fort walls, as I just saw, are already down, so they already have a bit of a level experience lead, which is incredible considering we're only 2 minutes into the game. So Infamous are not the aggressors, are aggressive, which is not what I expected looking at the draft. I thought Hafnet would be playing this much more aggressively, but it looks like Infamous have managed to avoid any fights they don't want and take the fights that they do want. There's roots going on to Mute on ETC right here and getting a lot of damage done. Tyrande, Lunar Flare did save him for the most part there, but they are doing most of the aggressive plays in this map so far, which is surprising considering they don't have an assassin. They have 2 specialists and 2 supports. Power Slide goes in, they look to be doing some damage onto Rehgar, but this goes for him. He will be able to take it out, and he turns it around immediately onto ETC with a root going down, and Uther will not be able to save him. First blood go in favour of Team Infamous. Tassadar looking to take the bottom shrine. Uther is there scouting it all out, but there's nothing he can do alone to take it. Zagara took the top one against Illidan. In the meantime, Illidan's taking it back now before the Dragon Knight manages to get taken. So we'll be delaying that for a bit longer, but there's already a half-level lead going down for Infamous Esports, which is interesting to say the least, because I just didn't expect the game to go out like this. Skara playing incredibly aggressively against an Illidan, something that you don't see very much. I mean, he is taking out a lot of the creep tumors by the look of it, not all of them, but some. In the meantime, we've got a bit of poke going on. We've got Team Hafnet rotating down to the bottom to attempt to get some ganks done here, and this is what I expected. I expected them to be rotating a lot as a 4-man and getting some damage done here and there, getting some ganks off, but it looks like Infamous was always one step ahead of them and managed just to pull back just in time so that they're not in any real danger. 2 supports here as well, but nothing that Hafnet can really get done. In the meantime, we've got Zool and Murden in the mid lane, soaking experience. Sagara is still on top, getting some soaking done. Illidan is just standing around, defending his shrine because it's his, and he doesn't want to give it to Sagara because he's a big old meanie. Anyways, we have rotations going on towards the mid to bottom forest area. Murden not taking a lot of damage, everybody pulling back, not much happening. If we take a look at the talents, then we see that Sagara has gone for Envenomed Spy, it's pretty standard. Endless Creep, so she looks to be spreading around a creep a lot, getting a lot of vision for her team, which is always nice to have, and it's one of the things that makes Sagara as strong as she is. Battle Momentum for Murden, not too unusual. Power Slide talents keep going in, Lunar Blaze. Owl build is happening as I expected it to happen. Cleanse going down for Rhaegar as you'd expect. So nothing hugely out of the ordinary coming out. Thunderclap build will be coming down for Murden. Ooh, we've got a stun going down onto Zool though, and a Gravity Lapse to follow up. Will it be enough to take him out though? No, that support, that Tassadar shield will keep him alive, but we've got both shrines at the moment for Hafnet, because Illidan took the one at the bottom, now the rotation to the at the top, and now rotation to the bottom lane will secure that shrine, so they will be pushing in towards the middle and see if they can get a Dragon Knight here, which would give them the momentum to potentially swing the map into their favor and even out that experience that Infamous have secured. But it looks like Infamous' rotation to bottom is taking care of that shrine again, and pretty much means that everything will stay relatively even with a small experience lead for Infamous. So Infamous is playing that out quite slowly. They had the aggressive plays in the start, they got a pick off, they're getting some soaking done better than their opponents. Ooh, stun onto ETC though with the root to follow up. The Lunar Blaze does save him though, so that he has all the time that he needs to move and to stop his opponents from taking him out. Quite an aggressive play coming out from Rhaegar here, just laning a bit. Maybe they can capitalize on this. Ooh, but the Stormbolt, the Dwarf Toss Stormbolt onto Kael'thas, and the roots coming in afterwards might be. Ooh, triple Gravity Lapse does shut down his opponent's team, and level 10 has been reached for Infamous, and that Poison Nova gave that away, but did not really get that much done apart from some damage onto Uther. But now, level 10 versus level 9, I'd be very surprised if Infamous doesn't manage to snowball this into both shrines and an early Dragon Knight, because as we saw in the last game, once you have that heroic talent, can't really be contested by your opponents as much anymore. But it looks like Hafnet, that's exactly what they're going to try to do. They're going to try not necessarily fight, but delay the Dragon Knight as long as possible until they get their level 10 and they can properly contest it. But level 11, this is the exact same thing we saw on the last map on Blackheart's Bay. Infamous has already that full level lead, and level 10 does go down for Hafnet now. And poke damage going on both sides, and Zagara managed to go up. The Owl off of Tyrande did not manage to interrupt this, so with this full level lead and with this Dragon Shrine, Infamous is looking to secure an advantage in the going into the mid part of this game. Looking at the heroics and see if there's anything unusual. We've got Metamorphosis as can be expected, Starfall, since Tyrande isn't solo healing, that's pretty standard as well. Divine Shield, Mosh Pit, Phoenix, everything quite standard. Ancestral Healing, Maw, Avatar, Archon. See, this is interesting. Because of the sustained, and we did see Rhaegar going down here, that's an engagement that I didn't see as much. And Zool got taken out as well. That stun composition is paying its due now, with 2 kills going down in favor of Team Hafnet. And I'm not sure why Infamous pushed in that far. That didn't look to be the smartest play they could have made. I'm sure they wanted to create some space for Gizmo to push in the middle fort with his Dragon Knight, but the first Dragon Knight's never that impactful. And pushing 2 forts at a time gets quite greasy this early in the game, and they did pay for that dearly. So now, Hafnet Esports have managed to even out the experience a little bit. They're only half to 3/4 of a level behind now. But with both dead members of Team Infamous being back up, the 2 kills didn't end up being too impactful for the flow of this game. what I was saying earlier about the Archon is that I find it an interesting pick because it's not something you see all the time, but it does make sense given the circumstances. So, if you look at Team Hafnet's lineup, you've got ETC and Illidan, which both can escape force walls quite well. And you've got Divine Shields to save the other two members of that team. And especially considering that there are no assassins for Team Infamous, the Archon might be their way of securing some extra damage in that team fight. Just some extra DPS so that they can get that kill, because they know that the later this game goes, the lower their chances are of winning prolonged team fights because of the composition that Hafnet have drafted. So it's interesting. I'm not sure whether it's necessarily the best choice, but we'll see how it plays out, and I might end up eating my hat. Bruiser Camp goes down for Team Infamous. They're looking to get some push done. Spot Camp. Ooh. The Storm Bolt does end up missing, but they probably will stand up getting this fort. The rotation comes down from the rest of Team Hafnet to try to push this back, and the power slide goes on to Murd and pops the Avatar to get out. He does get stunned by the Lunar Flare, and he might be in a bit of trouble. Dwarf tosses out in the end, and nothing of too much importance does end up happening. But if they don't take out this Bruiser Camp could still threaten the rest of this fort. Shrines come up. Bottom Shrine first goes down to Team Hafnet. Top Shrine goes down to Infamous, with Zagara being left alone in that top lane for most of the game, which is quite interesting, because she's securing more and more of an experience lead for her team. So it doesn't matter how many kills Hafnet end up getting in little skirmishes. If Zagara is left alone to soak this much experience, the experience will always stay in favor of Infamous. Some poke damage going down, ETC power slide into Mosh Pit and Gravity Lapse at the same time. Archon gets popped to get some damage done, but there doesn't seem to be enough DPSs down here to turn that Mosh Pit into anything substantial. Illidan rotates down as well, has to back off, he gets quite low. Archon's getting some damage out, but both teams, again, engaged hard in a situation. Ooh, actually, with the stun going down to Murd, the bottom dwarf does come out, and he does save himself. Divine Shield goes down on Kel'Thas, so he's safe as well. Both teams are prolonging this team fight for quite a while. They have that sustained team fight potential. ETC pulling back now, and Infamous seem to be the aggressors and the victors, quote-unquote, in this match. And with Zagara taking the top shrine, and the bottom shrine being taken that skirmish, Zagara had all the time in the world to secure that Dragon Knight, and this will turn into level 16 at least. With the level 16, again, Infamous will have that talent tier advantage that we also saw in Blackheart's Bane. We saw how effective it was last game to turn into lead for the late game and to turn into a win. We'll have to see if Hafnet have adapted to this and have some sort of plan to get back into this game. They're not out of it by any stretch of the imagination, but they are definitely behind. And the mid fort does go down. Zagara took out the top fort earlier. The bottom fort was taken out by that Bruiser Camp that they left alone earlier. So all three forts are again taken out for Team Hafnet, while all of the Team Infamous forts are still more than healthy, with even the walls being still up. So this aggressive composition that Team Hafnet drafted is not working out in their favor, because they're just not executing it right. They're not rotating around and trying to find ganks where they can. Either they're not doing that well enough, or Infamous predicted it so well that they can just move away. They're just playing safely where they can, and they're getting the aggression done where they can, and it's secured them an early lead, and it's securing them a lead for the late game now. And the Dragon Knight now is over. They only managed to get out one fort with it, but that's better than no fort, which is what Team Hafnet have to show for themselves. We've got a Maw going down here, some Phoenix going down as well, so some heroics have been used, nothing substantial has happened yet. And this is the problem that Hafnet have. They always poke a bit, they commit with one or two members, they use their heroics, but then the rest of the team just backs off because they're scared of taking a real fight and losing it. Stun, Stormbolt goes onto ETC, he has to use Power Slide to get out. This is not what ETC is made for. He's not a tank that runs away from fights. He's the one that engages, he's the one that sets up the stun chains and sets up the initiate. And it's incredible to see how Hafnet are just not coping with the playstyle of Infamous at all. They get some sort of prod and poke, but they don't ever properly commit to fights, and it just ends up hurting them in the long run because they never have all their heroics up at the same time. Stun goes up onto Kael'thas, he just moves back a little bit, nothing really happens there. Poke damage going down, the siege camp is taking out the wall. Wall is down now, so next time they have a Dragon Knight, they've got a straight path to one of the keeps of their opponents. So Infamous are playing this incredibly well. They're rotating down towards the Bruiser camp. They're going to try to take this out as well now. Setting up for more pressure in the bottom lane. It looks like bottom lane is probably the lane they'll be attempting to take as their route to the keep, but Hafnet pops in. Muradin delays them long enough for his teammates to pick up that Bruiser camp, and they've achieved all they want here, so they don't engage in that fight. They know that Hafnet have just gotten level 16, so they're an even talent, so that fight is useless. They just delay it long enough to take the Bruiser camp, and then they get the hell out of there so that they can take the rest of, move around the rest of the map, take the rest of the objectives, soak enough experience to keep up that now 2-level lead, and this is where it starts getting dangerous. So with a 2-level lead here, it's quite hard to catch up if you don't take a fight. And Infamous isn't going to let Hafnet take a fight. They're going to have to force the issue themselves. They're going to have to look for that fight and engage hard and force it. But if they don't, then I don't see this going very well, because then Infamous is just going to sit back, play safely, to make all the plays that they need to secure level 20, and once they have level 20, like last game, they're going to take a fight, they're going to take it well, and they're going to eliminate their opponents. Both shrines being contested for. Infamous took out the top shrine and now rotating down towards the bottom line shrine to attempt to get that as well, as they have been doing. Creep spread is looking good. Cigar looks to be increasing division. Ooh, might have a bit of a kerfuffle going on down here. Rotations coming down, both teams are down the bottom shrine. This is the point of contention. The rest of the map stun goes down onto Muradin, but he dwarf crosses out. Illidan's looking to engage quite hard onto Cigar, and the mosh pit goes down. Cigar gets taken out, and this might be what Hafnet needed to turn this match around. An early lead in this team fight, and they're diving heavy onto Rhaegar now, and they managed to take him out as well. And now their target looks to be Muradin. With his avatar ending soon, he should be able to take them out. Dwarf tosses to safety. Everybody on Hafnet seems to be low as well. Muradin's low, Tassadar is low at the bottom on Infamous as well. So this is a good start. ETC rotating towards the top. He's going to take the shrine. In the middle, we've got Illidan and Tyrande waiting. If Illidan... But, ooh, look at this. Infamous knows they're down. They also know that their opponents want to take that top shrine, so they know they're not in too much... Ooh, Gravity Lapse goes down to Zul, though, and he just manages to get out of there in time to heal. And now we see that the Dragon Shrine is active for Team Hafnet, and if they manage to take this, this might be their route to evening out this match again, and potentially secure, and the Dragon Knight will go taking it. So ETC is in the Dragon Knight now. Level 19 for level 17. This managed to even out the experience down to maybe a 1.5 level deficit for Team Hafnet, but with this Dragon Knight they can get some stuff out done. They can potentially even it out. Maybe take a fort, maybe take some keep structures. Just set up in a situation in which they're not crazy behind, so that they can go into level 20 without the huge deficit. Because Infamous is trying to sit back again right now. They're less than a half level away from level 20, and once they have that is when they start pushing the issue again. All their heroics are about to come off cooldown, and they'll be in the prime position to take an excellent fight. And look at this, Hafnet knows that level 20 is just around the corner. Even with the Dragon Knight, they're not forcing the issue. They're not even going to get a fort for it. They're going to get nothing. At a 17-minute Dragon Knight is going to be completely inconsequential. Because Hafnet had to pull back and take care of a Bruiser camp that was pushing the top lane. And they're not playing aggressively enough. A lot of things go down, and it's just because of us. Muradin, Uther had to use Divine Shield on himself, and that's one of the most important... Ooh! Surprise goes quite low there, and Essential Healing has to be used so that he doesn't die. So both healer ults have been used in this situation before a real fight began. Now Dragon Knight's going to be over, though, and it's level 20 for level 19, so we're probably... And here we go, this is exactly what we see. The rest of Infamous, and hold that thought for a second, because Zul gets taken out. Nobody knows why he was there. Metamorphosis goes down, and they're diving back onto their opponents. Devouring Maw takes Illidan out of the fight for a bit, but here we go. ETC was playing really aggressively on the other side. It's a 4v5 situation, but it is level 20 versus level 19, and if Hafnet have taken out one of the main damage dealers, one of the only sources of damage of their opponent, and they're not forcing the issue, and they're just going to wait and see and let Infamous recover and be a 5-man team again. And this, I don't know if I like this play. They could have forced the issue there. They could have turned that fight into an advantage for them, secured level 20 themselves, and then turned that into a fort and even potentially a keep, but they decide to pull back and take a bruiser camp instead? Questionable decision making, but we'll have to see how it plays out, because now both teams are level 20 and Zool is still down, so maybe I was wrong. Maybe Hafnet is now going to be able to push in and secure a fight here, but I don't think they will. All they're pushing right now with their level 20 and their one-person advantage is some fort walls, and who cares about fort walls 90 minutes into a game? Where is Uther even that pushed up that aggressively? I feel like Hafnet is evening out the experience, but they're looking to be making a lot of mistakes. In situations where they can't afford mistakes in the semi-finals of a regional tournament, I'm not sure that I like the play overall. We see some poke damage going in for both sides. Shrines are going to be active again in 30 seconds, and now Zool's back up. Heroics will be back up in 30 seconds as well, and then we'll be back in the position where Infamous and Hafnet this time are at least on evil footing, so props to Hafnet for catching up in that experience aspect. But Infamous still has all 3 forts, and Hafnet have no forts, and they have no walls. So if they lose this Dragon Knight, then we'll be in a situation where Infamous will have any sort of opportunity to push any direction, any lane, and take out a keep, and potentially another keep, or maybe even push the board. We'll see how it goes. It is even enough. It does... Infamous, Hafnet is not out of here. If Hafnet managed to pull together their plays, and there's a lot of damage going on to ETC, and if Hafnet managed to take a good team fight and take out 2 or 3 members of the opposing team, and then every position to take this Dragon Shrine and get something consequential that's done this time as opposed to what they managed to do last time. Murden's pushing in a bit forward, trying to take the Shrine early, while ETC is pushing around the bottom and he wants to get a flank up. And this is some sort of aggressive play that I want to like to see, and there's like Mosh Pit goes down on 2 of the members of Hafnet, of Infamous, and they both manage to escape with a blink and a dimensional shift respectively. Metamorphosis goes down as well. ETC is already quite low. Ancestral Healing has to go onto Zagar. ETC pushes in with that. Ooh, and he knows he was going to die anyways, so he power slides in to at least catch someone in that Death Mosh Pit. But Uther is really low, and if he gets auto-attacked by anything, he dies. So Uther goes down, and the rest of Hafnet got taken out with that as well. So while ETC this time pushed in much more aggressively, where's Uther going? He decided to push in to the opposing team's side with this? Is he suiciding? I'm not quite sure what this play is supposed to be. He's just running in with his redemption and completely wasted that res, so he's dead again. There's a lot of questionable plays coming out from Team Hafnet at this position. I don't know if they've given up yet, or if there's just something going on with the team itself, but we've got a Dragon Knight now being taken for Infamous. That fight was dominating. ETC pushed in and got some plays done with the rest of his team pulling back, so there's some sort of communication issue going on right now. That fight was not the fight they needed to even out the series, and now with 3 members still being down, a 20-second res timer on Gale Bus, this keep is down, and it looks like Infamous is just going to push the issue and just try to end the game here. Dragon Knight, 21-minute Dragon Knight, a lot of damage going down. We'll see how Infamous plays this, but Zagara was very low, and that ETC power slide into W combination did take her out. And we see the same thing happening to Zool right now. He's just trying to force, but look, the core is already too low. Infamous takes this out. That last fight was too sloppy and not impressive enough for Hafnet to somehow defend that. And GG, Infamous wins, 2-1. We'll see how game. The 4th and potentially final game of the series will be held on Infernal Shrines. Hafnet Esports have chosen a composition that is catered to this map specifically, with each of their heroes providing some level of AoE damage that can secure skeleton kills on shrines. Tassadar and Rego will provide support for Zool, taking the role of a melee damage dealer, with Falstad giving the team not only strong backline damage, but the global presence to soak experience in gank, something that is incredibly valuable on bigger maps such as this one. Stitches will be the solo tank for this composition, increasing the team's overall gank potential, while also providing the aforementioned AoE damage with his strong slams. This composition will look to get early hooks to pick off enemy heroes, but lack the overall lockdown to secure the kills once the hooks go down. Keeping that in mind, it will probably look to isolate out an enemy with a hook and a root from Zool, potentially followed up by a Falstad Gust to secure an early advantage in any engagement. The first hero that requires attention on Infamous' side is Sylvanas, a strong pick for this map especially, as she increases the value that the Punisher pushes have by disabling her enemy's fortifications. Additionally, Kael'thas provides the strong ranged assassin with Karazim and Tyrande healing for the team, and Muradin, again, being the frontliner. This time around, Infamous have the dangerous CC chain with Stormbolt, Lunar Flare and Gravity Lapse, which could be combined with a Wailing Arrow from Sylvanas to absolutely make sure their target of choice dies quickly. Karazim also provides AoE healing against Zul and Falstad's damage. Whether or not Tyrande picks Shadowstalk to aid Karazim in this role remains to be seen, since she can get a lot of value out of Starfall on Infernal Shrines. The strong AoE damage potential alongside Infamous' Lockdown will prove to be the playmaker for the game. Overall, both teams clearly have a strategy going into game number 4. Hafnet will probably look to get an experience lead with Zul rotating the bottom 2 lanes and Falstad soaking the top, leaving any shrine engagements until a point where they both have a level advantage. I don't know how much I like the Stitches pick in this situation, since isolating a target with his hook in this kind of composition requires a lot of setup and will be difficult to pull off. On the other hand, Infamous have a much more realistic combination of heroes, which look to be catered towards winning teamfights around the shrines and then using their Sylvanas to align their pushes with Punishers. Truly, this game will come down to whichever team executes their strategy best. Let's see how it goes. Welcome to Infernal Shrines. On the left hand side, trailing one match in this best of 5, we have Team Hafnet Esports with Padrino on Zul, Metalis on Rehgar, Mute on Stitches, Bara on Tassadar and Nit on Falstad. On the right hand side, their opponents in the red, looking to end the series and potentially qualify for the finals of this tournament. We have Infamous HotS with Gizmo on Karazim, Fots on Sylvanas, Surprise on Muradin, Neo on Kael'thas, and Blank on Tyrande. Both teams look to be rotating into the middle, top area at the beginning of the match to see if they can get some early pickoffs off. But this first hook misses, and I doubt something big will happen early on in this game, judging from compositions and the way the game's been playing so far. We can see that we'll probably have one member on each team rotate up to top, and the rest of the teams rotating between mid and bottom to soak experience for the beginning part of this match. And while that happens, nothing else big is happening unless Hafnet try to get some sort of gank off here. We might have an engagement here, this would be interesting, and doesn't look like anything will happen. A hook will come out soon, and no. It's just going to be rotations to soak experience, with the top lane being Karazim versus Tassadar. Again, Karazim is a solo laner for Team Infamous. So let's look at the talents for now. Rehgar, this time on the blue team, will also go for a Colossal Totem build. Shade on Zul, which is pretty standard. Gathering Storm on Falstad. Ooh, Sylvanas just managed to get out of that. And that hook would have been very deadly if it would have landed, but doesn't end up being too consequential. The red team's talents also look to be quite standard, with an Owl build going on to Tyrande, Muradin picking up his Reverberation as per usual, and Paralysis coming out from Sylvanas. So everything looks to be quite standard. Sylvanas is staying to soak in the bottom lane. There's a rotation of Kael'thas, Tyrande, Muradin for Team Infamous, and just the soak and the prodding in the top lane going on as well. The first shrine will be the bot shrine. Could be going up in a couple of seconds, and we'll have the first potential team fight of this game going down in just a few. So right now we've got the tanks on the of the respective teams, picking off the first set of skeletons, with Kael'thas coming in and securing the first good batch of skeletons for Team Infamous. Nicely done on his part. We've got a rotation going down for the rest of Team Hafnet, looking to get some damage done here. Poke damage already down on Surprise on Muradin. Rehgar looking to get some damage into Fots, but backing off in the end. It looks like Infamous will be the team. Ooh, a hook goes down, but the Dwarf Toss instantly secures that nothing comes of it. Infamous is looking to be the team that aggressively takes the shrine and will be taking the majority of the skeletons so far. And if Hafnet doesn't do something soon, then the first Punisher will be their opponents. Zul's taking quite a lot of damage at the top, but with the Tassadar shield should be able to get out fine. The well-timed Dwarf Toss means the root will not go down onto Muradin. And this pretty much means that the first Punisher, which is a frozen Punisher, will go down for Team Infamous. And because they have a Sylvanas, normally the first Punisher of a game isn't too impactful in any stretch of the imagination, but because they have a Sylvanas, we see Team Infamous is rotating down and is going to start pushing with this as a 4-man group, even for the first Punisher, because she's going to look to disable the fortifications and drastically increase the value this Punisher can get out. Normally he'd already be nearly dead by now, especially because Hafnet managed to successfully bait him over the wall, but he's getting much more damage done, and the fort's already on half HP, and look, Padrino is quite low. The Lunar Flare does hit, he's taking a lot of damage, and First Blood goes down, Zul gets taken out, and Hafnet, Infamous already, again, the team that secured this early aggressive. Ooh, but the hook goes down, and this might be a counter kill, and it is. Tyrande goes down. Disregard what I was about to say earlier, it does look like Hafnet and Infamous are going to go out this first engagement relatively even on experience, but with almost being a fort down on the side of Hafnet. Now we'll have some rotating seeing around on the map, with both teams probably looking to secure some sort of camps. Look at this, we've got a bit of a gank potential happening down here. Hafnet feels that they are safe, and ooh, no. Just in the last second, Sylvanas pushes in and Kel'Thas pushes in, and both of them manage to get some damage into Regard. They will take him out and secure this free bruiser siege camp in the bottom of the map. Falstad manages to arse someone out of there without being threatened too much. Zul's here, and if Zul's left alone and he has the position to play without being threatened too much, he'll be taking out this camp in no time. Such a strong laner. In the meantime, we might have a bit of a kerfuffle happening in the middle, but it doesn't look like we will. Muradin looks to be threatening and assisting this siege camp, so they look like they want to get value out of the siege camp, which is why they have Muradin, Kel'Thas, and now Sylvanas, all three of them in bottom, attempting to push down this fort and secure the experience advantage they get from this low health fort before the next shrines come in, so they have a bit of an advantage going into that team fight. The roots do go on to Kel'Thas, Gravity Lapse goes on to Zul, so they trade out their respective CC, but nothing too much happens other than some poke damage for both teams. Tassadar and Tyrande are soaking mid, but the top lane is uncontested for Gizmo, which means there is some sort of XP advantage happening for Team Infamous, regardless, just because they're getting some more token. The hook goes down onto Surprise, and he doesn't take life-threatening amounts of damage, which means he'll just be rotating back, potentially tapping or using his trait to secure some HP. And doesn't look like Infamous is looking to contest the shrine earlier, neither is Hafnet. Hafnet are rotating up now, but Infamous want to take some camps before they take the shrine to create some pressure all across the map. Whether or not they go for the bruiser camp as well will be up to them, and we'll have to wait and see, but it is definitely a possibility, because Hafnet have still not activated the shrine to get some times done, so it looks like there's a fight going down though. Root's going on to Kel'Thas, and he is taken out early. That was in response to a hook from Stitches. On the other hand, we've got a very aggressive Regard getting hit by a Lunar Flare, and he does manage to move out, and that first kill evens out the experience lead that Infamous had secured themselves, and now with Falstad flying up towards the top, and Kel'Thas being dead, it looks like Hafnet will be the team that will get the first set of skeletons for this shrine. We're going down along the shrine a little bit. Looks like Infamous seems to be the more healthy team overall, so once Kel'Thas rejoins them, we'll see a situation in which the Hafnet are probably, and this is what's happening right now, are probably going to back off a bit, allow for some space to be made for Infamous to take the shrines here while they tap and secure some more mana and HP. Sylvanas is taking some damage, Surprise is taking some damage. Hook misses Kel'Thas, or else that might have been dangerous, but now Infamous have the room, because they know the hook's on cooldown, they have the room to push in and get some damage done themselves. Stun goes on to Zul. No follow-up CC out of Infamous. They look to just be evening out this skeleton count and potentially taking the lead in that respect as well. Rhaegar has looked to soak some experience. Level 10 coming in for both teams at the same time in this map, so for once Hafnet isn't behind in that respect. So we'll probably see some sort of engagement going down here with both teams having reached level 10 and having their ultimate abilities now. And a hook goes on to Kel'Thas, and this should be a lot of damage. But he does manage to get out. The root's going to Kel'Thas as well, but it looks like Hafnet is turning around their damage into Surprise. Ancestral Healing goes into Falstad to save him, and it looks like both teams backing out of that a little bit. Neither of them really taking the dominant position in that fight. Look to getting some healing done, while we see the AoE healing of Karazim is coming in quite well to deal with the... Ooh, but the hook onto Sylvanas will mean that she goes down. Actually, the Divine Pawn doesn't even have to be triggered. She used her E in
preparation for that hook and managed to use it immediately to get out of any damage, even considering that the force wall had gone down. So excellent play by that Sylvanas. Ooh, but the force wall goes down, but the stun does go on to Stitches, and a hook again, this time onto Karazim. He managed to jump out again. So we can see a team composition where a lot of the members of Team Infamous have answers to the hook. They have escapes to that even if they do get caught by the Stitches, that they don't necessarily die. This is what I was talking about earlier in the draft. Hafnet do not have the potential to really lock down a target after they hook him, so they are free to just jump out again. We've got some shrine damage going in, both teams nearly securing, but Infamous will be the team, again, to take the second Punisher of the map. And this Punisher will be a Mortar Punisher, and with Sylvanas and the rest of the team, oh, Zool played a bit too aggressively. He wanted to get cocky around Gizmo, but Gizmo was having none of it and ended up taking him out with his damage. Now Sylvanas and the rest of the team are pushing in here, disabling fortifications again. What an aggressive jump in by Murden, trying to get that stun onto that Rhaegar, but it doesn't end up being followed up by anything. They're just creating a lot of pressure here, and they might be able to take out this fort as a whole, and I think they will. Hafnet are giving up the fort. They're pushing back. They're being pushed back. They're just going to heal up. They're going to sacrifice this fort, and potentially even the keep wall. No, they're posturing up, so this keep wall should be safe for now. Ooh, but they didn't manage to get the bait properly, so that the Punisher is still on the other side of that wall, not being fired up by either the keep nor the keep turret. As stun goes on to Stitches, he's taking a bit of damage. Phoenix is down as well, so poke damage from Kael'thas is coming in into Team Hafnet, and Infamous has managed to heal up nicely and are again in a very healthy position. They managed to take out the keep wall, and again, with such an early objective, because of that Sylvanas, they've managed to get such a high advantage that it snowballed into not only a complete fort, but also keep wall before the 10-minute mark, and a full level lead again. So Infamous again are the team that are in the dominating position, about to go into a talent tier advantage, like we saw in the last two games. And this time, Hafnet have to even it out before level 20. Their biggest downside was that in the last map on Dragonshire, they ended up evening out the experience, but it was a bit late because they had already lost all three of their forts, and in the early and mid part of the games they managed to get no pressure onto their enemies, and potentially we might be seeing a repeat of that game. And that wouldn't be good, because we all want to see a fifth game of the series. And let's see, we have a Dwarf Toss going in and a Stormball. That body block is beautiful, but the Gust comes out to save Stitches, while a lot of damage goes into Surprise, and not any consequence out of that team fight though, other than a couple of heroics used and some damage being done. This time we have Tassadar obviously playing Shield Force Wall again, as we've seen a couple of times, so that hardcore choice that Infamous went for in the last map will not be repeated, potentially as is that sort of hook lockdown. Like we see hooks here and they'll probably be followed up by force walls, so that the target can't just right click and move away from the hooks again. Infamous is playing very aggressively because they have that talent tier advantage. They want to be invading this camp, and they do end up doing that. Now they're rotating out again a little bit. So, with damage going now, they look to be 5-man rotating already at level 13, and now the talent tiers are even. But the Sylvanas means that they do have the advantage when they play aggressively. Force Wall comes down, and it's like Hafnet are trying to get some sort of engage, but they're again putting all their damage into Surprise, and he's not been dying throughout all 3 matches so far. They need to start picking off the squishier members in the backline of Team Infamous first. They put all their damage into Surprise in every engagement, and he always manages to get out without being killed. Now, that's a waste of a lot of damage. So we see the shrine in the middle is about to be active again. So a hook goes down, but it doesn't kill anyone as per usual. And Infamous is looking, after having tapped, is looking to come in and get some damage done and potentially take another fight here because they have that level advantage. Stitches going to take some, pushing some damage into Karazim, unconsequential so far. Muradin and the rest of the team posturing up to potentially get a stun off. Stun goes on to Tassadar, but he's got a dimensional warp out of there. And looks like Hafnet again, like they have been in the last 2 matches. They're scared of something. They always push back, and as soon as they get engaged upon, they push back, and then they let Infamous take the aggressive position. And a lot of damage with the Wailing Arrow goes onto Stitches, and he has to use his ult to move out there. Dwarf Toss comes to save Surprise, and a lot of Falstad damage is coming in though, so a lot of the members of Team Infamous are quite low, so they're probably going to have to back off and attempt to heal up a little bit before they try to engage again, which now gives Hafnet the opportunity to get some shrine damage into this map and potentially take the first shrine for them of the map. and counter push, and this is what I said they needed to do earlier. This would be a very good thing for them if they get this Punisher and they get a push in. They might potentially take out the middle fort. Then that's a great way to get back into this game and to turn the tide of the battle in their favor a little bit. Rhaegar is moving up to the top, so they're not committing everything to this push like Infamous does. They're trying to even out that experience lead by having someone soak in the top. We're not sure how well that will work though. Dwarf Toss goes out to save the surprise from that force wall. They're baiting this Punisher way further back than their opponents. It means they'll be able to take it out much quicker. The Arcane Punisher is dangerous. It does do a lot of damage, but it might not even be able to take out this fort with the aggressive Dwarf Toss coming out here and a stun. Actually, the fort does end up going down. So Hafnet pushed back at just the right time to secure that they wouldn't be in any sort of danger and could still take out the fort. And at this point, there's only a small experience advantage for Team Infamous. And Hafnet have taken out a fort of their opponents, so they're 1 fort down. That's not too huge. So they're still in every position to change this, to turn the series around and potentially turn it into a 2-2 and puts the game to game number 5. And get another chance at moving on to the finals and potentially qualifying for the sub-championship of Sweden, which both of these teams at this point want to do. That's the goal on everybody's mind. They want to move into the finals, they want to win that finals, and they want to move on to Sweden and have a chance at that big fame and prize pool that come with such a big tournament. Hook goes on to Duranda, and this is the kind of target that they always need. Hook goes on to Harel, and with a Phoenix being down, that should take her out. Duranda does go down as the first person in that fight, and then this is one of the first fights that Hafnet have taken a good advantage. They took a good hook, they got a force wall to stop any retreat from Duranda, a route in from Zul. That's exactly what they need to do over and over again to secure that one target gets picked off. And then they have all the time in the world to decide if they want to continue fighting, or if they want to pull back and just take that advantage. And ooh, they're looking to engage again here. Force wall goes down. A lot of damage goes into Zul though. And a root might come into Muradin. He manages to dwarf that out, and Hafnet is just going to retreat now. There's nothing too big is going to come from this. It's a bit of a kerfuffle to attempt to contest the siege camp, but it didn't end up working out in the end. Instead, we've got a push in at the top in the meantime by the bruiser camps of Team Hafnet. Muradin rotated up to deal with that though, and the rest of his team is going to take out the bruiser camps of their own. Timed a little bit better. These bruisers will be able to push top while the rest of Hafnet is already rotated down to the mid here, so this will be potentially some keep damage during the Shrine engagement if it ends up taking long enough and nobody of Hafnet moves back. Rest of Team Infamous dealt with some wave there and soaked some more experience. Both teams are level 16. Everything looks very even. Force wall goes down, trapping out some members of Infamous. But Hafnet are pulling back again, leaving that aggressive position to be taken by Team Infamous. And they're looking to get a hook. The hook goes onto the minion, and that's the dangerous part about this map, is that there's so much small little creep running around during these important engagements that hook is much more difficult to hit and become consequential, which is why I didn't like that Stitches pick too much. Ooh, we've got some damage into Casta that he manages to E out with there. Muradin looking to get a stun onto someone with Karazim poking around at the bottom. Nothing too consequential. Ooh, but a stun onto Falstad and a Wailing Arrow silencing him. He does manage to get out in time, and the Ancestral Healing will save him, but now Infamous are in the more aggressive position. And ooh, a lot of damage going in onto Tyrande, but that Divine Shield does pop in time and does give her that HP that she needs. Well, there's only 3 more skeletons, and they do manage to, Falstad manages to take him out with a Q. So those 3 skeletons will be taken for Falstad. Now the second Punisher for Team Hafnet has been taken, and they'll be looking to take out this bottom fort. And if they manage to do that, then that's a lot of experience that they get, and they managed to take the experience lead for the first time in 3 games, and Hafnet are looking to play this game much better than the previous games. I'm still not sure I like their approach to the engagements that they're taking, but it seems to be working out for them, just getting a lot of AoE poke damage to secure the Shrine fights and not committing to anything too serious. So this push will be going on to the keeps. In the meantime, we have Tassadar just taking out the bruiser camp at the top, so it doesn't do too much damage. The Punisher jumps over the map, was baited successfully. Under fire from 3 turrets, so it's not going to live much longer. They're just ignoring the Punisher for now. Noticing that Tassadar isn't here, they try to push in and get some damage done. And they manage to get some poke damage, nothing too huge. The Gust secures the disengage for Team Hafnet, and that was a good play. That was a good set of plays. They've got a half level lead. They managed to take out another fort at a keep wall, so everything's quite even a little bit in favor of Team Hafnet. So the rest of this game should be move on to be quite a lengthy one for competitive games because of how everything's working out. We can take a look at some of the builds in the meantime while we have some downtime. We've got a full slam build going on to Stitches. We've got quite a AoE damage focused build for Zool. Boomerang build for Falstad, as you could probably expect. Nothing too interesting to look at for all of the teams so far. Everything seems pretty standard overall. What you'd expect. Little fight goes down, Gravity Lapse goes down on to Stitches as well. He uses ult to try to get out there. Does get up a stun that the Dwarf Toss will secure the kill. And a stun, a Lunar Flare going onto Rhaegar nearly kills him as well, but the Tassadar Shield will save him. The Gust will try to secure that disengage for Team Hafnet, but that wasn't the engagement that we wanted to see. If they want to stay ahead in this game, they can't lose Stitches like that, and an engagement over essentially nothing but a bruiser camp, siege camp. So I'm not liking the way they play. Maybe there's a lot of nerves going into this. It is a semi-finals match. We'll have to wait and see how it plays out, but Infamous is now in a situation where they can soak up 2 lanes quite safely, 3 lanes even. And they'll be up in level 19 in no time as well. They'll have evened out the experience lead that Hafnet secured for themselves. They'll de-push this lane over here, and that'll push them over to level 19. Hafnet's still about half level ahead, but I'm not sure how long that will stay relevant. Maybe chill out the Shrine, maybe they'll be able to get level 20 earlier and secure another Punisher and push that in to take out the last fort that Team Infamous still have. That would be good. That would secure a good advantage. They might be able to... Ooh, they're looking to take out this fort already, so that if they get the Punisher, it'll be a situation in which they push straight for a keep. And the Shrine is now active. Hafnet this time taking the aggressive stance and getting out the first few kills. And it is again an Arcade Punisher, so this could transform into a Punisher that could snowball the game into Hafnet's favor much more drastically. Both teams are going to be level 20 soon, but there will there'll be that little time frame in which Hafnet is level 20 and Infamous will not be, which Hafnet need to make the play happen, and that's what they're waiting for at the moment. They're just poking around, they're poking and prodding, they're looking to get all those bits of experience, and here we go, level 20's been hit, now they want to engage hard. Tassadar gets stunned, the Mighty Gust to disengage against the wall. I'm not sure I agree with that choice, but we'll have to see how it plays out. Rue will be going on to Surprise again, taking all the damage. A hook coming on to Sylvanas though, and nothing going down, but a lot of members of Infamous are quite low, while Hafnet are still relatively healthy, so Infamous is probably going to have to pull back and give up this Punisher, which would be dangerous for them to say the least, especially because they just took out that fort, but they're looking to engage again. Stitches is quite low, Falstad is trying to get out of there, so Hafnet is pulling back. They're scared of the engagement. Tassadar is playing very aggressively, force walls himself into his opponents, having to use his E to get out of there safely. And now the Hafnet is pulling back to regain some HP, regain some mana, and Infamous is now in a position where they can catch up on the skeleton kills and even out the shrines. It even looks like Infamous Hafnet might want to give up the shrine as a whole, but no, Falstad flies back in, the rotation comes back out, they decide to contest this one more time, and we'll have another fight go down here. All ultimates for Team Hafnet are up, and 2 of the ultimates for... Ooh, hook onto Kelfast, might get a lot of damage done, but Stitches is being caught out, and ooh, just manages to get out of that Lunar Flare, because that would have been very dangerous. The Wailing Arrow doesn't get too much done either. We have damage going out for both teams towards the shrines. Infamous is still taking that more aggressive position. A Phoenix coming down, the hook misses, so it looks like Infamous might be the team that ends up getting this Punisher after all, which is not what Hafnet is hoping for. Root is about to go down after Surprise. He does use his defensives though, so he should be all but fine. But 3-man Gravity Lapse does secure that this Punisher gets taken out. There's a lot of damage going onto Zool, and he does get taken out at the top. He was too far away from his supports to get any damage done. Falstad taking a lot of damage. Aggressive blink from Sylvanas. Maybe too aggressive. Gravity Lapse onto Stitches takes him out as well, with alongside that Arcane Punisher. So now with 2 people down on Team Hafnet, Infamous is again in the position where they want to push in and get some damage done, and the Shrine Wall from very early on in the game is already, the keep wall is already down, so this keep is gone for sure. The question now is, how far does Infamous push this? Hafnet have managed to successfully bait the Punisher all the way down to the middle keep, which is good, because this means the Punisher won't be threatening the core. But while they're dealing with the Punisher, Infamous is looking to just walk towards the core. Just ignore Hafnet as a whole. That Gust might delay this for a bit. We've got a lot of damage going down. Ancestral Healing goes onto Falstad. Sylvanas going quite low, but does get enough getting saved by your healer. Tassadar is walking around in circles, trying to get some damage as well, but there's not enough damage on Team Hafnet to somehow stop this. The Punisher's now hitting the core as well. Infamous is looking to finish out this game, and that's exactly what will happen. GG. With a dominating 3-1 victory in the series, Infamous will be the team that moves on to the finals of the Copa America and will play one more series to secure their shot at Sweden World